Don't scroll. Weak minds already did. They couldn't handle truth, they wanted comfort, not power. But you're here. That means you're either brave enough to face yourself, or arrogant enough to believe you already have control. Either way, you'll break before this ends. Because what's coming isn't motivation, it's exposure. By the time this hour ends, one of two things happens. You evolve, or your mask shatters. Make sure you are strong enough to listen till end. Now, let's begin. This isn't motivation, this is the raw truth. You think you're calculating, but you're just pretending. You talk about playing the game, but the game always plays you. Let that burn your pride for a second. You call it control, yet your every move is dictated by impulse. You can't even go 10 seconds without a reaction. That's weakness camouflaged as intelligence. And deep down, you know it. Don't scroll. Breathe. Let that sting settle. Oh, you're still here? Good. That means you just broke your comfort zone. Now prove it, stay till the end. You crave dominance, but your emotions dominate you every minute, every outcome, every ruined plan. People see right through you, even when you hope they don't. That illusion of self-mastery, I rip it out, right now. You're the type who acts calm until the pressure comes. Then, like clockwork, you fold. You've spent years perfecting excuses, running from discomfort, negotiating with your own mind as if it owes you comfort. But comfort is a parasite. It eats away your edge. You want to command respect? Start by commanding your own reactions. Right now, they'd catch you with one phrase, one look, one disappointment, and you'd unravel. You talk discipline but live in chaos. If you're still here, congratulations. Most would have scrolled, especially when truth slices against their ego. But you stayed. That's rare. Society designed you for emotional slavery. Carefully conditioned, programmed from birth, react when hurt, apologize when challenged, seek approval when unseen. You never questioned it, did you? You're strung up like a marionette, invisible strings jerking you left, right, up, down, while you convince yourself you're walking freely. But every emotional twitch is proof you're still shackled. You chase, you fold, you break, then you chase again. They expect apology. You disappear instead. Pause and let that land. Most will never see the strings, too busy being pulled. You keep waiting for the moment you feel ready. Here's reality. Readiness is just another lie comfort tells you to keep you stuck. You want to be sharp? Sharpen yourself in silence, where no one claps, and the only judge is discipline. Reframe every kindness they taught you. It's a weapon, not a weakness. You comfort others because comfort keeps them docile. They comfort you to keep you docile. Stop mistaking comfort for strength. If you understand this, like this video, when anger controls your reactions, you're playing in someone else's arena. When hurt makes you fold, you're writing their victory story. When love distracts your focus, you sacrifice your power for emotional crumbs. But here's the upgrade: cold logic. You see everyone as they are desperate for stimulus, validation, acknowledgement. You stay still. They panic. You move, and the world flinches. Don't scroll. This rhythm, the slow reflection, is where your real edge builds. Most would have tapped out already. The dopamine curve dips. Their attention falters. Only the ones built for transformation push through discomfort. That's you. You've been lied to. They told you control is about dominance over others. Wrong. Control is about absolute command over yourself. The calmest man in the room is usually the most dangerous. Repeat it until it's truth. Real power isn't loud. It's invisible. Waiting. Calculating. You're predictable to them right now, but unpredictability is forged, not gifted. They expect you to react. Choose silence. They expect drama. Deliver calculation. They expect emotion. Present strategy. If you're still watching, you're built different. Every attack is an invitation. Destroy what's soft, rebuild what lasts. Your triggers are blueprints. Study them, master them, transcend them. Liberation formula. Break, realize, transcend. You don't destroy the old self once. You kill it every time comfort calls your name. You become an observer of your own brain, not a servant of it. New rule. You never give a reaction for free. Every emotional burst costs you power. Delay your reaction, and power multiplies. Visualization hook. Imagine a fortress. Doors locked from inside. No attacker gets in. You don't offer weaknesses, only calculation. Now, let's loop the reward. The ones who reach this part of the message, you're not chosen, you're forged. By challenge, discomfort, truth. Every second you stay is evolution. Watch how the weak operate. They need constant reassurance. They need drama to feel alive. They mistake reactivity for authenticity, chaos for passion. You're evolving past that. You understand now that silence is a weapon sharper than any word. Observation is more powerful than participation in their emotional circus. Here's what separates you from everyone still trapped. You're learning to treat emotions like data, not commands. Anger? That's just information telling you something crossed a boundary. Sadness? Information about loss or disappointment. Fear? Information about risk. Information doesn't control you. You process it. Extract what's useful, discard the rest. The average person drowns in their feelings. You dissect them. Mid-level validation. If you're still here, you're outpacing every average mind. Most break. You build. They'll try to pull you back. Friends who need your old reactions to feel comfortable. Family who mistakes your evolution for coldness. Society that demands you stay predictable. Let them try. Your transformation isn't negotiable. Every time someone tries to trigger you and fails, that's a victory. Every time you choose logic over impulse, you level up. Every time you walk away from drama they created, you demonstrate mastery. You're not suppressing emotions, you're strategizing with them. The weak need their anger immediately. You save yours for precise moments where it serves your goals. The weak give love freely. You give it selectively to those who've earned access to your inner world. Everyone else gets your calculated exterior. Professional, composed, unreachable. Here's your next test. For 48 hours, become unreadable. Someone insults you? Neutral face. Someone praises you? Same neutral face. Don't give them the satisfaction of knowing they affected you either way. Watch how uncomfortable it makes them. That discomfort is their addiction to controlling you dying in real time. You wouldn't still be here if you weren't ready to evolve. This isn't theory. This is execution. Most people collect knowledge and do nothing. They watch videos, nod along, feel inspired for 10 minutes, then return to their patterns. You're different. You're still here because something in you refuses to stay average. Comment, I'm done waiting if you're ready to move. Final truth. The person you were when you started this video, they're already dead. The question is whether you'll bury them or try to resurrect comfort. Choose burial. Choose evolution. Choose power. Now sit in silence for 10 minutes. Let your old self die there. Control your emotions, and you'll never have to beg for control over anything ever again.
You think being smart is a gift? It's not. It's a sentence. One you didn't ask for and can't appeal, because the moment your mind starts seeing patterns others miss, connections others ignore, outcomes others can't predict, you stop belonging to the world they live in. And that's not loneliness. That's isolation. There's a difference. Loneliness is temporary. Isolation is structural. It's built into the way your brain works, the way you process information, the way you observe people and realize most of what they say is performance. Most of what they believe is inherited. Most of what they fear is irrational. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. I've spent my entire life in rooms full of people who think they understand me. They don't, they see the surface, the posture, the habits, the way I hold a cup or sit in a chair, but they never see the calculations running behind every word I don't say, the probabilities I'm testing with every silence I hold, the strategies I'm building while they assume I'm just observing. That's the first lesson genius teaches you. People don't see you, they see their interpretation of you. And most of the time, that interpretation is wrong. If you're still listening, you already know you're not like them. Genius isn't about IQ scores or academic achievements. It's about the speed at which your mind connects information, the depth at which you question what everyone else accepts, the inability to turn off analysis even when you desperately want peace. Most people think in straight lines. A leads to B, leads to C. Simple, predictable, comfortable. I think in networks, A connects to B, C, D, and F simultaneously, each thread branching into probabilities. Each probability splitting into variables, and every variable creating new questions no one else is asking. That's exhausting. Not intellectually, socially. Because when you think that way, normal conversation becomes unbearable. Small talk feels like wasted processing power. And most social interactions reveal themselves as transactional exchanges dressed up as connection. People ask how I'm doing. They don't want the truth. They want the script. I'm fine. A loop with no content, just noise pretending to be communication. So I stopped participating, not out of arrogance, out of efficiency. Why spend energy performing emotions I don't feel for people who wouldn't notice if I did? That's what isolation actually is. It's the gap between what you see and what they see, and that gap grows wider the smarter you get, because intelligence doesn't just reveal answers, it reveals how many people are asking the wrong questions. I've watched people panic over problems I solved in seconds, celebrate victories I saw coming 3 moves ago, argue over opinions they adopted without examination, and every time, the distance grows. Not because I want it to, because it has to. You can't connect with people who live on a different operational frequency. It's like trying to have a conversation through static. They hear words, but miss meaning. You offer logic and they respond with emotion. You calculate outcomes and they react to feelings. Eventually you stop trying. Not out of cruelty, out of realism. Comment, "I see everything," if you understand what I mean. Here's what they don't tell you about genius. It doesn't make you better. It makes you different. And different is isolating in ways most people will never experience. When you're young, you think being the smartest in the room is an advantage. It is, until you realize the room doesn't want someone smarter. They want someone relatable, someone who laughs at jokes that aren't funny, someone who agrees with consensus even when it's wrong, someone who blends. I never learned how to blend, because blending requires turning off the part of my mind that questions everything, and I can't do that. It's not a choice. It's architecture. So I became the person people respect but don't understand, admire but don't trust, need but don't want around. That's the trade. Competence for companionship. Most people choose companionship. I didn't choose competence. It chose me. And once it did, isolation became inevitable. I've solved cases others called impossible, predicted behaviors psychologists missed, identified patterns buried in chaos, and every time I succeed, the distance grows. Because success at that level doesn't create connection, it creates reverence, and reverence is just another form of distance. I'm not lonely because I lack people around me. I'm isolated because no one around me operates on the same frequency. And that's not their fault. It's not mine either. It's just the reality of what happens when one mind develops faster, deeper, differently than the norm. Share this with someone who thinks too much. Here's the part no one talks about. Genius doesn't just isolate you from others, it isolates you from yourself. Because when your mind never stops analyzing, you start analyzing your own thoughts, your own emotions, your own existence, and that level of self-awareness becomes a prison. I can't experience anything without dissecting it. I can't feel without questioning why I feel. I can't make a decision without calculating 17 different outcomes and their probabilities. And by the time I'm done calculating, the moment is gone. People think intelligence is power, sometimes, but more often, it's weight. The weight of seeing too much, knowing too much, understanding too much, and having no one to share that understanding with. I've sat in rooms full of brilliant people, investigators, analysts, strategists, and even among them, I'm alone. Because intelligence has levels, and each level isolates you further from the one below. I've caught criminals, prevented disasters, saved lives, and at the end of every case, I return to the same empty room, the same racing thoughts, the same awareness that no one truly understands how my mind works, and no one ever will. That's the price. Not poverty, or failure, or rejection. Those are temporary. The price is permanent awareness. The knowledge that you'll spend your entire life operating on a frequency no one else can hear, solving problems no one else sees, carrying thoughts no one else can hold. And you can't turn it off. You can't dumb yourself down. You can't pretend not to see what you see, because once the mind reaches a certain level of clarity, it can't go back. So yes, genius means isolation, not as punishment, as consequence, the natural outcome of a mind that processes reality differently than everyone around it. And if you've listened this far, you already know what I'm talking about, because you've felt it too. That distance, that awareness, that exhausting clarity that separates you from the noise everyone else calls normal. Genius isn't a gift. It's the price you pay for seeing too clearly in a world that prefers comfortable blindness.
Most people think manipulation is about lies. It's not. Manipulation happens when someone else controls your reactions, before you even notice. And the reason it works so easily is because most of you are predictable. You react the same way every time. Same triggers, same responses, same patterns, which means anyone paying attention already owns you. The trait that makes someone impossible to manipulate isn't intelligence. It's not charisma, it's stillness. The ability to pause between stimulus and response. That gap is where freedom exists, and most people have never even felt it. If you want to become unreadable, untouchable, and completely immune to control, then listen closely, because what I'm about to explain will change the way you see every conversation, every relationship, every move someone makes around you. Like this video if you're ready to stop being controlled. Comment, I'm ready, if you refuse to stay predictable, and share this with someone who still reacts without thinking. Now let's begin. Manipulation starts with observation. Someone watches how you behave under pressure, how you respond to praise, how you react to insults, how quickly you explain yourself when questioned. All of that is data. And the moment they recognize your pattern, you become a tool they can use. The reason I remain unmanipulable is simple. I don't give them data. I don't react emotionally. I don't justify my decisions to people who haven't earned access. I don't move until I've calculated every possible outcome. And by the time they think they understand me, I've already shifted. Emotional control is the foundation of psychological immunity, not suppression. Control, there's a difference. Suppression is pretending the emotion doesn't exist. Control is acknowledging it, analyzing it, and deciding whether it deserves influence over your next move. Most people are ruled by their feelings. Anger makes them loud. Fear makes them hesitate. Desire makes them desperate. Guilt makes them obedient. And manipulators exploit every single one of those states because they know the emotional person will always choose comfort over strategy. I don't. When provoked, I observe. When praised, I measure intent. When insulted, I collect information, because every reaction someone tries to force out of me is a confession about what they're trying to accomplish. The second rule of staying unmanipulable is unpredictability, not randomness. Unpredictability, randomness is chaos. Unpredictability is controlled variance. It means your responses don't follow a script. Your decisions don't align with assumptions. Your behavior doesn't repeat in patterns someone can study and exploit. People expect confrontation when challenged. I give silence. They expect explanation when questioned. I give redirection. They expect emotion when pressured. I give analysis. And every time their expectation fails, their strategy collapses. That's the advantage. Manipulation requires predictability. If you remove that variable, the entire system breaks. Detachment is a language the world doesn't understand, yet it speaks louder than rage ever could. The moment a person learns to separate emotion from evaluation, they become untouchable. Weak minds call it coldness because they fear what they can't predict. But clarity demands distance. When calm becomes instinct, chaos loses leverage. Ayano Koji's advantage isn't intelligence, it's emotional neutrality. He doesn't chase approval, doesn't defend his silence, doesn't explain his choices. That's why no one can control him, because control depends on reaction, and he gives none. Every manipulator needs feedback to refine their tactics. Take that away, and they suffocate in uncertainty. Detachment is not the absence of humanity, it's the evolution of it. A detached mind sees truth without distortion, acts without guilt, and walks away without noise. The ultimate power isn't to dominate others, it's to remain unbroken when they try to dominate you. Most of you think being open is strength. It's not. Openness without discernment is just handing people the manual to your mind. They learn what excites you, what offends you, what controls you, and the moment they have that information, you're no longer operating independently. You're reacting inside a framework they designed. I don't let that happen. I share selectively, I reveal strategically, and I never give someone leverage unless it serves a purpose. I've already mapped 3 moves ahead. Detachment is not cruelty, it's clarity. When you stop needing validation from others, their opinions lose power. When you stop fearing judgment, their criticism becomes irrelevant. When you stop seeking approval, their manipulation tactics have nothing to grip. That's freedom. Not loneliness, not coldness. Freedom, the ability to move through the world without being pulled by invisible strings someone else is holding. Here's what most people don't understand. Manipulators need your emotional investment. They need you to care what they think. They need you to fear consequences. They need you to crave acceptance, because all of those needs create dependency, and dependency is control. Remove the need, remove the control. The third principle is patience. Manipulation relies on urgency. Decide now. React quickly. Don't think too long. All of those commands are designed to bypass logic and trigger emotion, because emotional decisions are easy to predict and easier to exploit. I never rush. When pressured to respond immediately, I delay. When forced into a yes or no decision, I reframe. When told something is urgent, I evaluate whether that urgency benefits me or them. And 9 times out of 10, it benefits them. Patience is a weapon. The longer you wait, the more information you collect, the more they reveal, the clearer their strategy becomes, and by the time they expect an answer, you've already seen the entire board while they're still moving pawns. Self-mastery is the final layer. You can't be manipulated if you've already mastered yourself. If your emotions don't control you, if your desires don't dictate your decisions, if your ego doesn't demand validation, then external forces have no entry point. That's the state most people never reach, because it requires discipline they're unwilling to practice. It requires solitude they're afraid to sit in. It requires honesty they're not ready to face. But if you want to be impossible to manipulate, you have to build that foundation. You have to train yourself to pause before reacting, to question before accepting, to calculate before committing, because once that becomes instinct, no one can move you without your permission. Here's the reality. Most people operate on autopilot. They respond the way they've always responded. They follow scripts written by culture, family, fear, and habit. And because of that, they're easy to predict, easy to influence, easy to control. I don't operate on autopilot. Every word I say is intentional. Every silence I hold is strategic. Every decision I make has been filtered through logic, probability,
綾野浩
and
二清
outcome
隆です
analysis. And that level of control isn't something
よ
you're
ろし
born
くお
with,
願いしま
it's
す
something you build. One disciplined choice at a time. That's the trait. Not a skill, a state where your mind is calm. Your movements are calculated, and your presence is unshakable, where no threat, no praise, no guilt, no pressure can pull you off course, because you've removed every handle they could have used to steer you. People will call you cold. Let them. People will say you've changed. Good. People will wonder why you're suddenly unreachable. Perfect. Because that confusion means you're no longer operating inside their framework. You're no longer playing a game they designed. You're no longer controllable. And once you reach that state, manipulation becomes impossible. Not because you're invincible, but because you've made yourself unreadable. And
綾野
unreadable
浩二
people
清
can't
隆
be
です
predicted, and unpredictable people can't be
よろしくお
controlled.
願いします
Stay calm, stay detached, stay 3 steps ahead, and remember, the one who reacts least controls most.
You think you see the field, but you don't. Not yet. Because vision isn't what your eyes can track, it's what your mind predicts. 3 moves before anyone else even blinks. And that's the gap between winners and everyone else. They react to the game. Winners shape it. I learned that the hard way. Standing in a room full of monsters, all sharper, faster, more naturally gifted than I'd ever be. I had no weapon, no signature move, nothing but the realization that if I couldn't outrun them, I'd have to see the ending before they even knew the story started. That's when it hit me. Vision isn't talent, it's hunger. Hunger to read what no one else reads. To find openings where others only see walls. Most people spend their lives chasing greatness with their eyes closed. They train hard. They work late. They suffer. But they never ask the one question that changes everything. What am I not seeing? Because the moment you stop assuming you know how the game works, you unlock the field no one else has access to. The invisible game. The psychological battlefield where every real victory is decided. So here's the truth no one wants to hear. If you're still losing, it's not because you lack effort. It's because you lack perspective. You're moving fast, but you're moving blind. And speed without vision is just noise. Noise that gets you nowhere. Let me tell you something about the players everyone fears. They don't just train their body, they dissect the game like surgeons. They see patterns in chaos. They feel rhythm where others hear static. They know that every opponent has a weakness, every system has a crack, and every moment has a window. But only if you're looking for it. Only if you've trained your mind to hunt for truth, while everyone else is hunting for glory. That's the difference. Winners don't chase the ball, they position themselves where the ball will be. They don't react, they anticipate. They don't hope, they calculate. And when the moment comes, they strike with surgical precision because they saw it coming 10 seconds before anyone else. Now here's where it gets dangerous. Most people think vision is some magical gift. Like you're either born with it or you're not. That's a lie they tell themselves to stay comfortable. Vision is built brick by brick, failure by failure, realization by realization. Every time you miss, you get information. Every time you fail, you see a new angle. Every time someone outplays you, you study why. And slowly, painfully, obsessively, you start seeing what they can't. I wasn't the best striker when I walked into that program. I wasn't the fastest or the strongest, but I became the one they couldn't predict. Because while they were perfecting their shots, I was perfecting my sight. I was learning to read the field like a language only I understood. Every player became a variable. Every move became data. Every game became a puzzle I was determined to solve. And that's when it clicked. The real battle isn't on the field, it's in your head. If you can see the game unfolding in your mind before it happens in reality, you've already won. You're not hoping anymore. You're deciding. You're not trying anymore. You're executing. Vision is the power to take chaos and mold it into strategy, turning uncertainty into opportunity while others hesitate or make excuses. When you train your mind to spot what's missing, you start seeing the weaknesses behind every loud boast, the tiny cracks in a perfect plan, and the hesitation in someone's eyes right before they break. This is where real winners separate from pretenders. Your future is decided not by the obvious moves, but by subtle patterns, timing your attack when no one expects it, creating space where no one else can breathe, holding back until the moment delivers itself to you. The true visionary does not need to announce their next step. Their presence alone shapes the field, bending events without ever forcing them. If you can stay hungry for insight, ruthless in your analysis, and calm amid pressure, you become the center of gravity. And once you reach that level, the field, your opponents, and even fate itself all start to move for you. So if you're ready to stop being average, if you're ready to stop blaming talent or luck or timing, like this video right now, because what I'm about to tell you next will either change your life or prove you weren't ready for it in the first place. Here's the secret no coach will ever teach you. Vision isn't passive, it's aggressive. You don't sit back and observe. You hunt. You question every assumption. You challenge every pattern. You rip apart every play until you understand the logic beneath the surface. And once you see it, you weaponize it. You use their strengths against them. You turn their confidence into arrogance. You make them believe they're winning until the moment you show them they've already lost. That's what separates the ones who make history from the ones who watch it happen. The winners aren't just playing the game, they're rewriting the rules in real time. And by the time everyone else figures it out, it's too late. The score's already decided. But here's the cost. Vision demands obsession. It demands you think when everyone else is resting. It demands you study when everyone else is celebrating. It demands you see failure not as defeat but as fuel. Because every loss is a lesson, and every lesson sharpens the blade. Most people give up the moment it gets hard, the moment the path gets unclear, the moment the game doesn't reward them immediately. But that's exactly where vision is born in the dark, in the silence, in the space where no one's watching and nothing's guaranteed. That's where you decide if you're built different or just talking like you are. So ask yourself right now, are you training your eyes or your mind? Are you chasing moments or building patterns? Are you hoping to win or designing victory from the inside out? Because if you can't answer that, you're not ready yet. And that's fine. But don't lie to yourself about why you're losing. If this is hitting you hard, comment, "I'm ready," right now. Let me know you're not just watching, you're deciding. Deciding to see what others miss. Deciding to become the vision they never saw coming. Here's the final piece. The players who dominate don't just predict the future, they create it. They move in ways that force the field to react to them. They set traps. They manipulate space. They control tempo. They make everyone else play their game without even realizing it. And when the dust settles, they're standing alone at the top. Not because they were lucky, but because they saw the ending before the match even started. That's the power of vision. It's not magic, it's mastery. Mastery over your mind, your focus, your ability to see past the illusion everyone else is trapped in. And once you have it, no one can take it from you. So stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for someone to believe in you. Start seeing. Start building. Start becoming the player no one can predict and everyone fears. Share this if you know someone stuck in the noise, blind to the game within the game. Because the ones who see it will rise. And the ones who don't will keep asking why they lost. Remember this. Everyone watches the ball. Winners watch the field. And legends. Legends watch the future. Be the legend.
You think power comes from strength? How predictable? That's exactly why you've never held it. Because real power doesn't announce itself. It hides. It waits. It deceives. Strength is visible. The power is invisible. And the moment you confuse the two, you've already lost. I've watched countless people chase dominance through force, through titles, through displays of authority, and every single one of them fell, not because they lacked strength, but because they never understood the architecture of control. Control isn't built on what people see. It's built on what they believe they see. And belief is the only battlefield that matters. You show your hand too early. You react too honestly. You reveal your intentions like a child proud of a secret. And then you wonder why others outmaneuver you. It's simple. You're operating on the surface, while true power operates in layers beneath what anyone suspects. Deception isn't lying. It's strategic information management, knowing what to show, what to hide, and what to distort just enough that others draw the conclusion you want them to reach. That's the difference between controlling outcomes and hoping for them. If you're still watching, you already know force isn't enough. You think people see reality. They don't. They see interpretation. And interpretation is shaped by perspective. And perspective is shaped by the information they receive. Which means whoever controls the information controls the perspective. And whoever controls the perspective controls reality itself. That's not philosophy. That's mechanics. Every person operates inside a framework of assumptions. Assumptions about how the world works, who can be trusted, what is possible, and those assumptions create blind spots, predictable blind spots, and predictable blind spots are exploitable. I didn't defeat my enemies through combat. I defeated them through misdirection, by letting them believe they understood the game while I rewrote the rules in real time. Comment: deception is design, if you understand. Here's what weak minds never grasp. Visibility is vulnerability. The more people see of your strategy, the more they can counter it, which means the truly intelligent never reveal their full plan. Not to enemies, not to allies, not even to themselves, until the moment execution begins. You keep explaining your moves, justifying your decisions, seeking validation for your strategies. And every explanation is a blueprint someone else can study and dismantle. I never explained. I demonstrated, and by the time anyone realized what I'd done, it was already irreversible. That's the advantage deception provides. It creates lag, a gap between action and recognition, and in that gap, you move freely while others are still processing the last visible step. Most people fear being misunderstood. I weaponized it. Let them misunderstand. Let them build theories. Let them convince themselves they figured it out. Because a mind convinced it understands is a mind that stops investigating. And a mind that stops investigating is a mind you control. You think deception is about dishonesty? It's not. It's about selective truth. Revealing pieces of the whole in sequences that guide interpretation without forcing it, letting others convince themselves they reached conclusions independently when really, you planted every step along that path. Here's the part most will never accept. Deception is the foundation of every empire, every institution, every relationship, because no one shows their complete self. Everyone curates, everyone performs, everyone hides aspects they believe won't serve them. Same mechanics, different mastery. That's elegance. Making someone believe your plan was their idea. Making resistance feel like cooperation. Making defeat look like victory until it's too late to matter. I didn't need anyone to fear me. I needed them to trust me. Because fear creates resistance. Trust creates compliance. And compliance is far easier to manipulate than opposition. Share this with someone who still thinks honesty is strength. I've watched brilliant minds collapse because they needed recognition, needed others to know how intelligent they were, needed validation that their strategies were superior, and that need created exposure, and exposure created vulnerability, and vulnerability created defeat. Deception allows you to shape environments without resistance, because resistance only forms when threat is perceived. And if your moves are invisible, threat is never registered until the architecture is already built. You lack patience, you want immediate results, immediate recognition, immediate validation, and that impatience makes you predictable, makes you exploitable, makes you weak. Power accumulates slowly, invisibly, through decisions no one notices and positions no one questions, until suddenly, you're holding leverage everyone assumed was distributed equally. I never competed for visible power. I accumulated invisible influence, and influence is always more valuable than authority. Because authority can be challenged, influence shapes the minds doing the challenging. Here's the final truth. Deception isn't about lying to others. It's about controlling what they perceive as truth. And perception is reality for everyone except the one designing it. I didn't lie. I curated, I framed, I redirected, and by the time anyone questioned anything, their questions were already being asked inside a framework I'd built. That's total control, not through force, through architecture, the invisible architecture most minds will never detect because they're too busy looking at the surface. You want power? Stop chasing visibility. Start building beneath it. Construct in silence. Move without announcement. Position without performance. And let the world discover your dominance only after it's already absolute. Because true power doesn't reveal itself. It just is. Undeniable, unquestionable, inevitable. Stay unseen. Stay strategic. Stay 3 realities ahead of everyone watching the surface. Because a mind convinced it understands is a mind that stops investigating, and a mind that stops investigating is a mind you control. You think deception is about dishonesty? It's not. It's about selective truth, revealing pieces of the whole in sequences that guide interpretation without forcing it, letting others convince themselves they reached conclusions independently when really, you planted every step along that path.
There's a reason some people command the entire atmosphere of a room without speaking. It isn't charisma, it isn't sheer intellect, it's psychological dominance, an art even. Johann Lieber never fully mastered. True control doesn't shout or threaten. It barely even moves. Today you'll finally see why real power isn't built on fear, it's built on silence. Consider Johann Liebert. You know his shadow, the fear in his eyes, the bone-deep chill he sends down spines. He didn't rule by brute strength or empty noise. He became legend because he studied you, moved through your secrets, and quietly rewrote who you thought you were. He could unravel beliefs, make you doubt memory, history, even your identity. Johann's art was making obedience feel like your own idea, never a demand. Yet even masters like Johann never reached the summit of true control, because the highest control is invisible. It moves in silence, not in chaos. Pause for a second and imagine real control beginning. Not the instant you threaten or push, but the second someone feels deeply seen. Look beneath the surface. People say they want logic, but what they truly obey is feeling. If you echo their ache, reflect the wound hiding behind a laugh, you can hold their world in your hands. Not because they fear pain, but because beneath everything, everyone is searching for approval, understanding, and a God who suffers the same scars. Dark psychology is never loud. The quietest figure in the room, the listener, not the talker, shapes the biggest shadows. The tyrant craves to be feared, but the silent God is craved, trusted, never challenged, because he's impossible to read.
Craving approval is a leash. Wanting to be fixed is a vulnerability. Those who master this art don't move the chess pieces first. They make others desperate to play for them. Every gesture, every small smile or pause is a calculated message. Every word is a web. But the snare they're caught in, it's the web they spun themselves. Domination isn't real control. Real control is found in restraint, in the spaces between words, in unanswered questions, in the tension of not knowing what you're going to do next. Reveal little. Let patience fill the gaps. Let people think you are safe, that they're leading, that you are predictable. Because when they trust their comfort, you move quietly, and by the time they notice, they're already aligning with your design. People hate uncertainty. In that void, they craft their own cages, and you, patiently silent, hold the keys. You see this everywhere if you're paying attention. When you overshare, you bleed power. When you react before thinking, you surrender initiative. When you apologize for existing, you give permission for your story to be rewritten by others. In conversations, in friendships, in work and love, those who watch, who observe, who say less, become the silent core. The entire structure pivots around. Loud voices mean nothing. It's the one who listens, who waits, who lets every silence settle, that everyone uncannily revolves around. Silence terrifies people. When you withhold your inner world, they try to fill the void with guesses, confessions, and sometimes even secrets meant to wound you. But you are already 2 moves ahead. They never realize the opening was always yours to take. If you want control, bury the desire to prove yourself. Never compete to be seen. Do not race for validation. Develop the ability to observe. Those who react are readable. Those who hold themselves are mythic master. Your reactions, refine your impulses until they're invisible, and suddenly, you realize you aren't the puppet anymore. You are the string. Johann's masterpiece was his trauma, his chaos, the way he could tear down a human soul without lifting a finger. But even his reign was built on breaking others. He ruled through pain, distrust, and psychological collapse. Yet, the truest power, it isn't forced from others. It's serene. It's the strength that only radiates from someone who chooses to respond, never to explode, who speaks so rarely that the world leans in whenever a word escapes. The less you reveal, the deeper your influence. Mystery weighs more than explanation. The man who wants no followers is the one others pursue. The one who needs nothing from you is the one you want approval from the most. To own a room. Don't impress or intimidate. Become impossible to move. Become the rock people must navigate around. That is the next level, beyond even Johann's ice-cold terror. How do you do it in your world? Learn to pause, listen fiercely when others need to be heard, but guard your own truths like gold. Don't act until you sense all the variables. Smile just enough for questions, not for comfort. When asked to reveal, answer only with what serves your intent. Let every routine conversation become your terrain for practice. At work, don't volunteer your ambitions. Let results speak with friends. Support quietly, but reveal little. In relationships, love without outside need. Treat every discomfort as data, never as a call to panic. If you want to transcend Johann's shadow, prepare for isolation. You will be misunderstood. People trust loudness, they fear silence. You will seem distant, unreadable, unfazed. But watch, the ones who hold themselves steady become magnets for respect. Can you live through awkward pauses? Can you let others project their hopes and sins onto your unspeaking presence? Can you resist the urge to correct, defend, or explain yourself? If so, you are already walking the rare path. This is why those desperate to control always lose to those who need nothing from control at all. If you want to be untouchable, let your motivations and limits be unknown. Your silence becomes armor and allure. When no one can shake you, you lead the entire field without lifting a finger. What happens when you reach this beyond Johann level? Suddenly, chaos works for you. You set pace by doing less. You're a mirror for others, sometimes terrifying, sometimes intoxicating, always influential. People focus on you, not because you demand it, but because you stand unmoved in a world always begging for rehearsal. So before you chase some fantasy of becoming the next Johann Liebert, ask, can you walk out of your own shadow? Can you become unforgettable by being unreadable? Can you lose your need for approval and replace it with something greater, self-command? If everyone tries to poke, provoke, unmask, and you keep giving them nothing but calm, sooner or later, you win. Every victory is silent. If you can become the axis, the one thing nothing moves, then you don't threaten. You reshape the board by existing. You do not manipulate. You attract alignment. You do not chase. You decide what is worth reacting to and what deserves your silence. If you're ready to see what lies beyond fear, beyond manipulation, beyond the need to control, like this video, share it, comment, I'm ready. Let's see who truly arrives at the core, the dark psychology of control itself.
You believe evil has a face, a name, a heartbeat. You're wrong. The most terrifying monsters are the ones who never existed at all. Johann Liebert proves this. A devil without substance, a nightmare without form, a void that swallowed entire lives while remaining nothing more than an idea. Let that disturb you for a moment. You think you understand evil? Serial killers, dictators, psychopaths. They leave evidence, patterns, DNA. Johann left only emptiness. No fingerprints on the chaos he created. No trace of the lives he destroyed. He was everywhere and nowhere. Everyone and no one. Don't scroll. This contradiction is where your understanding of evil dies. Most villains want something: power, revenge, recognition. Johann wanted nothing because he times was times nothing. A perfect void in human form, reflecting back whatever darkness already lived in people's hearts. He didn't corrupt innocence. He revealed the corruption that was always there. If you're still here, you're already uncomfortable. Good. Comfort is the enemy of truth. Johann understood something most never will. The greatest evil isn't action. It's absence. Not hatred, but emptiness. Not destruction, but the space where something should exist. He made people kill themselves, kill others, abandon everything they believed in. How? By showing them what they really were underneath their carefully constructed identities. You think you know yourself. Johann would prove you don't. Picture this. You meet someone who remembers nothing about their past, claims no identity, desires nothing. But somehow, everyone around them begins to unravel. Not through force, through conversation. That's the devil who didn't exist. If you understand this, like this video, Johann's genius wasn't manipulation, it was revelation. He held up a mirror to humanity and showed them the void inside themselves. The emptiness they spend their lives trying to fill with meaning, purpose, love. He proved these things were illusions. You chase validation because deep down, you know you're empty. You seek purpose because you sense your meaninglessness. You cling to identity because without it, you disappear. Johann simply stopped pretending these things mattered. Most would have scrolled by now. The idea of meaninglessness triggers their defensive mechanisms. But you're still here, which means you can handle uncomfortable truths. Here's what Johann understood that you don't. Every person is already a monster. They just need permission to stop pretending otherwise. He gave them that permission through simple questions. What if nothing you do matters? What if love is just chemical dependency? What if your entire identity is a lie you tell yourself? Don't scroll. Let that settle in your mind like poison. The scariest part about Johann wasn't his actions, it was his absence of motive. Evil with purpose can be understood, predicted, stopped. Evil without reason? That's pure chaos. He killed people without touching them, destroyed families without visiting their homes, started wars without firing a shot. How? By whispering the right words to the right person at the right moment of weakness. If you're still watching, you're built different. Johann proved that the most dangerous weapon isn't a gun or bomb, it's the truth about human nature. The truth that we're all capable of monstrous things when our illusions are stripped away. You want to believe you're good? Johann would show you the monster hiding behind your morality. Not create it, just remove the mask covering it. That's why he's the devil who didn't exist. He wasn't evil, he was the absence of everything we use to convince ourselves we're not evil. Liberation formula. Recognize, accept, transcend. Johann recognized human emptiness, accepted it completely, transcended the need for meaning, purpose, identity. Most people can't handle this level of truth. They need their illusions to function. You're different. You're still here because something in you recognizes the void he represented. Here's Johann's ultimate revelation. Every system, every belief, every identity you cling to is just scaffolding built over an empty space. Remove the scaffolding, and what remains? Nothing. Johann was that nothing given form. A walking reminder that underneath all our elaborate pretenses, we're all just empty space pretending to be human. The weak need their identities to feel real. They need their purposes to feel valuable. They need their beliefs to feel secure. Johann needed none of these things because he understood they were all constructs built on emptiness. Watch how Johann operated, and you'll see the blueprint of perfect psychological destruction. He didn't need weapons or physical force because he understood something crucial. Every person carries their own destruction inside them, waiting for the right trigger. Johann simply found that trigger and pulled it with surgical precision. He'd spend hours, sometimes days, studying a single person, learning their fears, their desires, their hidden shame. Then he'd appear in their life as exactly what they needed: a friend, a confidant, a savior. But here's the twist that separates Johann from every other manipulator. He never lied. Every word he spoke was technically true. He just arranged those truths in sequences that shattered people's realities. A doctor who saves lives? Johann reminded him of the patients he couldn't save, the choices that killed people, until the doctor saw himself as a murderer in a white coat. A loving mother? Johann showed her how her love was just control, her care just possession, until she couldn't touch her children without seeing chains. You chase meaning because you fear the alternative. Johann embraced the alternative and found freedom in it. This is where most people break. The idea that everything they've built their lives around might be meaningless triggers existential terror. But you're still here. You can handle the possibility that Johann was right. Mid-level validation. If you've made it this far without scrolling away, you're not average. Most minds reject truths this dark. Johann's final lesson. The devil isn't someone who creates evil. It's someone who reveals that evil was always there, waiting, hidden behind every smile, every good intention, every act of kindness. He showed people their true nature, then watched them destroy themselves with it. You wouldn't still be here if you weren't ready to look into that same void. Comment, "I see the emptiness," if you understand what Johann represented. The person you were when this video started believed in good and evil as separate forces. The person you're becoming understands they're just different expressions of the same emptiness. Johann didn't teach people to be monsters. He taught them to stop pretending they weren't monsters already. Now sit in silence for 10 minutes. Let Johann's truth echo in the space where your certainties used to live. The devil who didn't exist was more real than every person who claimed to.